All right, hey Algebra 1 classes, second video here, Mr. Martin. Hopefully I do a better job this time than I did last time. I kind of created a little bit bigger angle of the board. Hopefully you can see everything that goes on up there. But again, as I've been telling you, shoot me emails, let me know what you think. Things I need to change. Again, very new to this. Second time now making videos. So still the first day, as you can see, dressed the same way as I was in the last video. But I'm doing a few videos back to back. Let me know what you think. Today, we are going to continue with substitution, okay? We're going to review the substitution, but then we're going to add a little bit to it, a little bit more to it. This x equals 2 is going to look a little bit different as we move through. So let's first review what we did with substitution yesterday, or in the last video. We took what x equals, and we put it right in to x in the other equation. So when I rewrite the equations, when I take this equation, y equals 3x plus 1, and I substitute that 2 in for that x, that gives me a new equation. So y equals 3 times that x value, which is 2, plus 1. So now I just go ahead and solve. And from here, we just use our order of operations, pretty basic. We do the multiplication first. We say 3 times 2 equals 6. Y equals 6 plus 1. And y equals 6 plus 1, y equals 7. And then I bring down what x equals. X equals 2. And this is one way to write the answer. And the other way is using our ordered pairs. My x first, my y second. I have 2, 7. Okay, those are my ways of writing that answer. So, basic review from what the last video was. Let's add to it. Let's make it just a little bit more difficult. Again, we're not going to start really getting difficult yet, but we're gonna change what that second equation looks like a little bit. All right, so we're going to have my first problem, or we're going to change what both problems look like a little bit. So my first problem is going to be 9 equals y plus x. And then my second equation is going to be x equals 2y. So now, these look a lot different than what we saw yesterday, or what we saw in the previous video. In the previous video, we had y equals, and then everything on one side of the equation, okay? And then we had x equals a number. Very simply substitute that number in. When we have a variable equals, we can still substitute whatever that variable equals into the equation. So, for that variable. So here we have x equals 2y. So I'm going to take this 2y, that whole thing, I'm going to attach that y to it, and I'm going to substitute it in for that x value, because that's what x equals, okay? So x equals 2y, so I can get that 2y out of there and substitute that in for my x. So I'm going to rewrite the equation now. I'm going to write the equation as 9 equals y plus, and then I just plug that 2y in. So 9 equals y plus 2y. And as we know, we can combine our like terms because they both have a y. So the 2y is the same thing as saying, the y by itself is the same thing as saying 1y. So 1y plus 2y gives me 3y. 9 equals 3y. Okay? Last piece to solve this, I want to solve for my y. To get my y all by itself, I got to divide by 3. Divide by 3, that cancels. Divide by 3, I end up with 3 is equal to y. All right? So that gives me my y value. I do not have my x value right now, okay? I have x is equal 2 times y, equal to 2 times y value. So I just have to plug this y value of 3 back into the equation. Again, we can see, we can look at it as using substitution one more time, where I'm going to take this 3 value, and now I'm going to take that value and I'm going to plug it in to my y. All right. So I have x is equal to 2 times 3. Okay, that 3 value is the value I found down here for what y equals. I plug it into that little equation. Okay, a lot of you can do this in your head. That's easy enough. You can say, oh, well, 2 times whatever y is going to give me my x value, which is going to be 6. You don't have to do all this out. That's fine. However, if we look at the process and when we have longer problems, we can kind of follow the process a little easier by doing them out. So x equals 2 times 3, 6. That's my x value. My y value equals 3. Y equals 3. That's one way of writing it. Or 6, comma 3 will be the other way to write it. Those are my answers. Okay. X equals 6, y equals 3. Or 6, 3, however you would like to write it. Few points to focus on here is during the first substitution, we're taking that y with us. We're not leaving it. We're not just plugging 2 in for x. We're plugging 2y in for x, combining my like terms. And then when I get my y value, I had to plug it back into one of the equations to solve. All right? Let's try another one. Again, we're going to move up the difficulty just a little bit. Not all that much, but enough to make us think a little bit. All right. Okay. So my 2 equations. I have 18 equals 3y plus 3x. And then my second equation is x equals 5y. Right. So here again, we got a lot going on in this first equation. We got our variables all on one side of the equation. But down here, I have an x value, and I have a value that that x is equal to. It's not a number value, but that's all right, because I can take whatever x is equal to, which is my 5y, and I can go ahead and plug it in for that x variable. Okay? Not the 3x, just the x. I leave that 3 out in front to distribute. So let's take a look at what my new equation looks like. I'm going to bring down everything from this top equation. 18 equals 3y plus 3. And now I'm going to open up my parentheses, okay? Because this 3 is going to multiply that x value I'm plugging in. 3 times 5y. And again, that 5y I got because I knew what x was equal to. X was equal to the 5y. So let's go ahead. Let's multiply that 3 times that 5. That'll give me 15. All right. So I'm going to bring down everything. 18 equals 3y plus 3 times 5 is 15, sorry. 15y. Combine my like terms. These are both y's, okay? Which means I can add them. So 3 plus 15 is going to give me 18. 18 is equal to 18y. Okay. So now you can kind of see this. You see where we're at. And all we need to do is just divide by that 18, right? Divide by 18. I know a lot of you are looking at it and you know in your head right now you say, okay, that's already 1. I don't need to do this, but we're going to divide by 18. We're going to go through the process. We'll go through the steps to make sure that we're doing everything correctly. Divide by 18, divide by 18. That gives me 1 is equal to y. So I know my y value is 1, okay? Awesome. That's my y. However, I don't know what my x value is, okay? I know that x is 5 times my y value, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's take that 1 and put it in for that y value. So x is equal to 5 times 1, which is my y value. 5 times 1 is just 5. X is equal to 5. Y is equal to 1. So, easy enough. Let's now do this. That's one way of writing it, and my other way is 5, 1. My x value first, my y value second. We get that, we finish it off. Great. I hope you guys are all getting this. You're following along with me. You're figuring these out. You're understanding them. If you're not, please email me. Let me know. Let me know what's going on. If you just want to chat, email me and let me know. Shoot me a message. You got 3 or 4 different ways of getting in contact with me, either through our platform, academic platforms, or through email. I'm available just about every day, anytime, and would love to hear from you. Okay? I hope you're all doing well, and I look forward to my next video. I hope you do too.